joining us this morning. We are here to judge the 2017 AIPP Landscape category. Very exciting. We are sponsored by the good people at Fuji, and we have Warwick Williams from Fuji here with us this morning, who would like to say a few words.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I was a little bit late, but someone just came and grabbed me because it's worthwhile collecting those stickers. They actually just won their X Pro 2 graphite that we gave away yesterday. So I've got a very happy photographer here, actually. And great, even better, she wants to buy small lenses. So thank you very much for taking part in this today. Fujifilm's certainly very happy to be here, and I'm actually very happy to sponsor, or to be part of the company that sponsors the landscape event. I think it's a fantastic way to show the rest of the world people's views of how they see the world. Fujifilm, of course, have been around for many years, since 1934, and my role in the company, I also wear another hat where I visit Japan once a year and take feedback back to Tokyo, and that feedback actually appears in future models of cameras. So if there's something you like, something you don't like, or something you'd like to see in a camera, please feel free to come and see me over at the stand, and hopefully we can then produce something that will switch you all over to Fujifilm. Oh, that's wishful thinking, eh? Thank you very much.
Thank you to Warwick and Fuji, and to all our sponsors, particularly Olympus, Aeon and Panasonic, who are our platinum sponsors of APPA. We've got an amazing, buzzing trade show here. So when Warwick referred to the sticker collection, for anyone who's not been here yesterday, you can go and collect the stickers from all the sponsors, and then there's a daily prize draw. Very handy. If you're here on Livestream, come on down if you can get into Melbourne, and it's well worth the trip. You might walk away with armfuls of prizes. Okay, kicking off this category, my name's Melinda Comerford. We also have David Evans. Welcome, David. Richard Bennett, Mike Langford, Hilary Hahn, and Jackie Rankin. Thank you so much, guys. Steve Scalone's going to be assisting me. Lucky me. Print handlers, are they ready? Yeah, all good. Okay, our print handlers are ready. We're going to do the category preamble first. So this is the 2017 AIPP Landscape category. This category is for landscape images that depict the natural or urban environment. Entries may be interpretive. In other words, they do not need to be a literal image of a scene. Judges in this category are asked to consider both traditional and contemporary values, camera technique, print quality, composition, and light. The category will be judged in two sections: single capture and open. Open entries may utilise all post-production techniques, including the use of multiple images or elements to produce the entry. Single capture entries may utilise in-camera multiple exposures and all post-production, excluding the addition of any new elements to the original capture. This includes borders and textures. Although the category is judged in two sections to assist judges in their assessment, there is only one award. Does that make sense to everyone? Excellent. We're going to begin with the single capture category, subcategory. Good to go? Fabulous. Let's begin with the first print, please. This print scores 77. Hilary, you were bang on the average there. Can you give us a quick comment about this print?
Yes, I've thought it was quite an interesting approach to this image. Just a little bit of the technique needs to be a bit improved, but I'd continue on with this idea. It's good.
Which technique?
With the way the animal is situated and the background could have been a little bit sharper and maybe a little less foreground. But I quite like the central
Great.
idea of it.
Thank you, Hilary. Next print, please. This print scores 79. And we'll go for review at the end of the category. For the audience, any prints that are on the cusp of the next award range will go next door to the other panel, and they'll get the chance to see if it goes up or not, or remains where it is. Can we please have a comment, Jackie Rankin?
To take this to the next level for me, just some sort of human element, a movement, or a little bit more emotion connecting those buildings with the landscape.
Awesome, thank you, Jackie. Next print, please. This print scores 74. Richard Bennett, can we hear from you on this one, please? Right on the average again.
It doesn't come to life for me, and the colours are so strong, they overpower actually getting into the image. I think harsh would be a good word to describe the treatment.
Thanks, Richard. Next print, please. This print scores 81, silver award. And Hilary again, could we have a comment from you, please?
Yes, I think this has been treated beautifully. I love the soft light on the slopes, and I feel like I can walk into this landscape. I think it's been very beautifully produced, the printing and the lighting. I'm not sure what else I'd do to improve it, but that's lovely.
Great, thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 76. Mike, could we get a comment from you, please?
It just cut back the saturation. I think it would be much stronger.
Great, thank you. Nice and concise. Next print, please. This print scores 77. And Jackie, you were on the average?
I'll be very wary for me of putting numbers and letters and things that we read instead of the graphics in an image.
Thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 84, silver award. And we'll go for review at the end of the category. David, could we get a comment from you about this one?
Yeah, look, I think this is really lovely because it draws in a parallel with an artist's canvas and the little paints down there at the bottom, and I just think it tells a really nice story, even though it's a very simple image, so it's well done.
Thanks, David. Next print, please. This print scores 84, silver award. And we'll go for review at the end of the category. Mike, what might the author do to take this into the next range?
I'd consider a square.
Very interesting, thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 84, silver award. And Richard, you were on the average on 84. What might the photographer do to take it another point or two for you?
It's very well done. I love the repetition of the shapes. Maybe I should have given it one extra point. Maybe I should have.
Well, it will get a chance for review, so it's got another life yet. Next print, please. This print scores 83, silver award. Mike, could you tell us what the author might do here?
I think it could have been stronger had it been slightly more abstract. The bottom edge isn't necessary.
Thank you. Next print, please. By majority, this print scores 79, and we'll go for review. For benefit of the audience, when we say by majority, it means that the average score may have been different, but we had 3 or more judges in a certain scoring range. So our judges work as a team, so we go with the team decision on that. But this one will still go for review at the end of the category. May we have a comment, please, from David?
I think it's very interesting, and I think it's nearly there. I just think it's a little just too heavy with the compositional balance on the left, and I think the printing could have a little bit more attention paid to some of the highlight areas.
Thanks, David. Next print, please. By majority, this print scores 79. But we have a challenge, it looks like, from Richard Bennett.
I think it's better than that.
Hang on, sorry. I'll just go through things first before you start speaking, Richard. So you are on 86, so we'll accept that challenge. We had an average score of 80, but a majority 79. And then we have an 82, a 78, 77, and a 75 for you to work on.
I like the large amount of space and the texture in the top, and the line coming down to the bottom, and the detail in the rocks is very, very well done, and I really think those pastel colours in the water are good. It's a fascinating composition. It's something that looked very good on somebody's wall, I think.
Thank you. Mike, you were down the other end on 75.
Yeah, I don't dislike this, but for all the reasons you've just said is why I gave it the score I gave it.
David, you were in the silver range at 82.
I'd like to see it go to a silver, and we're nearly there, because I think it is actually really nice and restrained in terms of its composition and balance, and the colours are really lovely with the blue, the orange, and the white. I think it's a silver.
And Richard, your right of reply.
I think it's time we voted again.
Let's do that. We have an average score of 80, but a majority 79. Richard is locked in at 86. Everyone else can rescore. Well done, 81, silver award. Next print, please. This print scores 76. Not relevant. Okay. May we please have a comment from Hillary?
I'll try again. I think the photographer has seen something quite interesting. I just think that the grass at the bottom, if it made it totally abstract with the grass removed, a little bit more detail in that little bit of a thing, whatever it is, yeah, I would have probably scored it a bit higher.
Thanks, Hillary. Next print, please. This print scores 81, silver award. But there's a challenge from Richard Bennett on 86. Now you've got Mike not far away on 84. Then there's an 82, a 78, and a 77. Richard, take it away.
It's a beautiful aurora, and lines of direction straight into that. It's very, very well done. I think it's worth more than the low 80s. I think it's worth the mid 80s.
So Hillary, you were on 77.
I felt that the image was relying on that aurora. I like the line straight into it, but I think I was looking for a little bit more compositionally of interest rather than just the light and the sky.
Thank you. Mike from 84.
Yeah, I believe that there is just a little bit more, and that's the reason why I've gone as high as I've gone, is the glow that's reflected in the snow. And that's the X element that just lifts it a little bit further. Otherwise, it is just an aurora with a road, but that glow connects the land with the sky, and I think that's great.
Richard, your right of reply.
It is all about the aurora. The other elements are simply supporting the aurora and leading the eye to the main subject, and the glow in the sand. It's a beautifully done aurora shot.
So we have an average score of 81. Richard is locked in at 86, but everyone else can rescore. Print scores 84. Good strong silver. Thanks, judges. Next print, please. This print scores 79. And we'll go for review at the end of the category. May we have a comment? Yes, Jackie, you're at the ready.
Yeah, just I would love a little bit more sharpness through those rocks in the centre area.
Thank you very much. We are going to keep our judges moving pretty quickly through this category. So, David, have a quick rest and bring on Gary Krenich. As Gary comes up, we'll have the next print, please. This print scores 76. Mike, could you please give us a comment?
A little bit more visual drama. The lighting's quite flat, just needs to be lifted.
Thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 84, silver award. And will be reviewed at the end of the category. Gary, could you give us a comment about this one, please?
Yeah, sure. A couple of little elements, maybe toned back a little bit further, would have taken me a little bit higher. But yeah, terrific little picture. Very simple.
Thanks, Gary. Next print, please. This print scores 78. Hilary, can we have a comment from you, please?
Yes, I think it's a very nicely seen piece of architecture. I'd like to just have seen something more brought to it from the photographer. Not sure what, but just something that shows that they're really invested in it.
Thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 82, silver award. Gary, you were on the average.
Gritty and grainy and abstraction. Some of those tonal elements back a little bit, those highlights, I might have gone a bit further.
Thanks, Gary. Next print, please. This print scores 78. But we have a challenge from Richard Bennett on 86.
Yeah, I scored that higher. I think the shapes and patterns in that are beautiful, and it's very well done. Again, I think it's worth more than 78 or 9.
Mike from 75.
Yeah, I found it's a very strong visual image, but the saturation's way too high, and it's overpowering the shapes. So colour palette versus the shape palette, they're in conflict as opposed to supporting each other for me.
And Gary, you were on the average at 78.
Yes, I was looking for a little bit more balance. Our bottom right-hand corner, I was trying to read what's happening down there, and there wasn't much going on there. So, yeah, in terms of composition, it just wasn't across into that award range for me.
And your right of reply, Richard.
I don't mind the saturation. It adds to the drama.
So our average score is 78. Richard has an 86, but everyone else can rescore. Print remains at 78. Next print, please. This print scores at 76. Jackie, please.
Some darkening at the bottom. Tell us where are our eyes supposed to go in the picture.
Great, thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 84, silver award. And Richard, could you give us a comment about this one?
Beautiful repetition of the squiggly creek, and there's a lot of interest and detail in the scrub in the foreground. It works really, really well.
Thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 77. May we have a comment, please, Jackie?
The figures in the landscape need to have more meaning and some connection with the space, and unsharpen the water a little.
Thanks, Jackie. Next print, please. This print scores 81, silver award. Mike, could we have a comment from you, please?
Yeah, not quite so heavy on the sky would have made it much, much better.
Thank you very much, Mike. Next print, please. This print scores 84, silver award. Jackie, can we hear from you on this one, please?
I guess that we're used to seeing squirrels, and that to get it to the next level, it's bringing something new to that. It's a lovely composition, though.
Thanks, Jackie. Next print, please. This print scores 77. Mike, please.
There is a great image within this image. It just needs cropping.
Great, thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 78. That's a challenge from Mike Langford. Thank you, Mike. On 83, there's a 79, 78 and two 76s for you.
Yeah, I think we all like it. It's just a matter of how much we like it. What does it for me is my eye is drawn into the back tunnel, but then it's forced to come back and look at the swirl. So my eye is being told to look at different things around the image, which contains me within the image, which means I'm looking at it more, which means I have to think about it. So just in terms of visual communication, it's staying with me longer, which means it's better than the average.
Let's hear from Gary. You're on 76.
Yes, it's all about the swirl. But for me, our background is just a bit too strong in terms of its tonal value and weight within the image. So the swirl is really, really well handled, but the other elements for me are just not competing well with the swirl.
Hilary, you were nearly in the silver range at 79.
That was what Gary said. That was that tunnel with the red light. I love the swirl. If the tunnel hadn't been there, I'd have been in silver straight away. I just found it too distracting.
Your right of reply, Mike?
Totally agree with you all. It's just a matter of percentage.
Well, our average percentage is 78. Mike sits on a percentage of 83. Everyone else can rescore. Print scores 79 and we'll now get a chance for review. Thanks, judges. Next print, please. This print scores 77. Jackie, you keen? Yeah, go for it.
I think some of the emotion has been lost by the lack of colour, and that's where we would enhance this shot, the warm colours.
Thanks, Jackie. Going to keep our judges moving along. Thank you, Richard. Have a quick break, and we'll bring on David Glazebrook.
I'd like the boat to...
Oh, sorry, Richard. No, that's all right. We're finished with that print.
We're finished with that
yep.
print.
All good?
I
You
won't
get to
say
have a
another
break
word.
now. No, thanks. You get to step back for a bit. He's keen. Let's have the next print, please. This print scores 76. May we please have a comment from Hilary? Oh, hang on. Have we got a challenge?
Yeah, I was going to challenge.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Thank you, Mike. Mike's going to challenge from 82. We've then got 78, 75, 73 and a 70.
Yeah, I guess one of the things that's disturbing me is also the thing that I'm liking, and that's all the colour shifts all over the place. There are things, I'm looking at a blue on the top left, a green on the top right, the reds on the bottom, and to be honest, I'm enjoying that because it's making me see differently. Whether that's right or wrong, or whether it's technically correct or wrong, it doesn't matter because I'm just looking at a pictorial that's making me very interested in this landscape. And it's got a great foreground, a great lead line. It's going into the background. It's visually interesting because it's not normal.
Thank you, Mike. Let's go to David. You're on 70.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Yes, it was the colour shift all over the place, the colour of the road, the colour of the tonality even of the rocks right in the foreground here that lead us through, and it was just that disconnection or the incongruence. I having trouble resolving it as some kind of reality, and whether it's a hyper reality we've actually been presented with. And as such, yeah, I'm listening to my fellow judges to try and come along with you, Mike.
Jackie, at 78, you were a couple away from the award range.
And yeah, it was, put it into black and white and make it more high key and make that cloud. I'll be right there. That's all I have to say. I guess it's that next step is just controlling those tones so that we understand how you feel about this photograph. Is it about the landscape or that sky? And yeah, those conundrums.
Mike, back to you.
Yeah, I think when you get challenged by something that's obvious, and the obvious nature's the fact that it doesn't normally, we know that this isn't true, right? And so instead of having the expectation of seeing what you know or expect to see and being given something else is what we do as photographers. We interpret things, we make them our own, we make them unique. The photographer has done that. By default, I don't know. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to someone who's dared to actually say, I know all these things are wrong, but gee, isn't that interesting? And I'm saying, it's interesting.
Our average score sits at 76. Mike has an 82, but everyone else can rescore. Print is now a 78. Couple of extra points, never goes astray. Next print, please. This print scores 78. Challenge from Jackie on 83. Thanks, Jackie. You're not alone because Hillary's not far behind an 82, and then there's two 77s and a 73.
Yeah, the beautiful brushy nature of the trees, the space between it balances those trees coming in from those corners. I guess it's the bird that feels real. It feels like a real space, a landscape looking up. And I'm enjoying the shape it makes. I was on an 83.
Thanks, Jackie. Mike, you're on 73.
This won't be a domestic dispute. This is just a point of difference. I actually found that the bird was just a little bit too close. If we're choosing a moment to photograph, the moment's just been missed for me. Also, I found the gap between the trees too strong, and it just doesn't have the tension, doesn't have the drama that it needs to take it into a silver for me.
Gary from 77.
It is most definitely about the space. The space is the story, not our fringing trees. So if more was made of the space and what was happening within the space as opposed to what's happening on the edges, I might have come across a bit further. So Jackie, tell me about the space.
The space without that bird doesn't work. And the key is the bird being on the edge, just about to land. If it had been bigger or smaller or further away, the balance would have been out for me. If you put your finger up and imagine that bird being somewhere else, is it in a better space? I think it's in the perfect space, and it was a real moment in camera, a moment, a decisive time and space. So yeah, the space, yeah, are working for me. I'm still on 83, and I'm asking you to come up to me.
Well, our average score is 78. Jackie holds an 83. Everyone else rescore. And we have an 82 silver. Next print, please. This print scores 82, silver award. And a comment, if I could, Gary.
Yeah, a great representation, a really nice representation of what you see on Australian dams and lakes. I probably could have gone a little bit higher, even if it was softer. Softer again, way soft.
Thanks, Gary. Going to keep our judges moving along. Bit of musical chairs. Thank you, David. And we're going to bring the other David back because I can only have one David at a time. It'll get too confusing otherwise. David Evans joining the panel. Next print, please. This print scores 81, silver award. Hilary, could we hear from you on this one, please?
Yes, I thought it was very beautiful, the light and the colours. I would have liked just perhaps a little bit more space above and below those tallest trees.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. This print scores 82, silver award. Gary, can we have a comment from you, please?
It's been very well printed. The tonal range has just been really nicely handled. So, yeah, well done.
Thanks, Gary. Next print, please. This print scores 77. Jackie, if I may.
Yeah, into that next level is about some extra communication, some emotion, some storytelling.
Thanks, Jackie. Next print, please. This print scores 83, silver award. Might come to Hilary for a comment, if I may. Oh, Mike, yeah, you're keen? Go for it, Mike.
I guess the difficulty with something like photographing a piece of sculpture in the landscape is a confusing one for us as judges. And the challenge is, what has the photographer brought to this? And I think they've brought drama. They brought light, they've brought the time, the place, and I think it's done very well. But I think because it's a piece of sculpture in the landscape, I couldn't go higher with it.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Mike. That's some really valuable feedback. Next print, please. It's wonderful of our judges to be giving this feedback on every print this year at APPA. It's so valuable, and we've got a wealth of knowledge on this panel. We've got 2 Grand Masters, which is incredible. Several red ribbons, which takes an awful lot of time and skill as well. So you've got an incredible group of judges giving you feedback on your images. This print scores 79. And we'll go for a review at the end of the category. David, tell us what might be able to be done to get an extra couple of points out of you.
I think just focusing on the printing, this could definitely come up a bit. It's just a bit flat, and the colours are a bit murky. So.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Next print, please. This print scores 74. Mike, please.
Just feel that the tight cropping has really let it down because the atmosphere is there, the shapes are there, just too tight a crop.
Thanks, Mike. Next print, please. This print scores 79. And a challenge from David. David on 84 and not alone because Mike's on 83. Then there's 2 77s and a 76 for you to work on.
This is very simple and beautiful and beautifully simple. The printing is really superb. At first glance it might not seem very dramatic, but the way that the printing has been handled with the gradation in the sky and all of the little detail in the buildings, bringing to the central point with the 3 reflections coming from the centre of that bridge, I really think that this is an image that is worthy of a second look to come up to silver, because it is really, really, really beautifully printed, and it's quite understated, but I think it's definitely worth the silver.
Hillary, you were on 76.
Yes, I agree with everything you've said, David. I found the crop was... I didn't find that it added anything to this picture. I don't know that I don't feel that it suits a square crop. I sort of felt a little bit not irritated by it, but just like it was there because if it had been cropped differently, I'd be in silver. But I'm listening.
Mike, you were in the silver range at 83.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got nothing to add to it apart from the fact that the score's wrong.
That's very concise. David, your right of reply?
Look, I think the crop works really well because it balances it really nicely. When you use a gradation like that, like in the sky, with this kind of image, you know, you need to be careful with the balance of the image. And I think if the crop was different, I think it would be out of balance. So I think it's been done just right. We only need one more person to come up to silver, by the way. Just one of you.
Thanks, David. Our average score is 79. David has an 84. Everyone else rescore. And you didn't have just one more person. They all came up. 82. Next print, please. This print scores 81, silver award. And may I have a comment, David, please?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the quality of the colour balance of this, particularly towards the top, and it's not been overworked and it's not been oversaturated. It's very nice.
Thanks, David. Going to do another judge change. Thank you, Mike. And bring back Richard Bennett. Welcome back, Richard. We'll have the next print, please. Just having some technical issues here. We're going to get going again in a moment, we hope. Could I ask the print handlers for a blank screen, please? Oh, this one was 81, yes, but it still hasn't been accepted yet. Technical issues. While we're going through our technical issues and sorting those out, how about we have our judges tell the audience a little bit about themselves? Jackie Rankin, you're a Grandmaster. Takes a lot to get to that point.
It's taken me 23 years, maybe.
That's amazing.
Maybe I became a Grandmaster maybe 3 years ago, so or more. I can't remember now. It gets on. It's a matter about being there, turning up, putting your best stuff forward, and putting passion into your work, I guess.
It's an incredible accomplishment.
Yes, I'm a Grandmaster in New Zealand, and I run workshops with Mike Langford, and we teach all that knowledge now. So, and I guess some of that comes out in the judging as well. Looking at other people's work is something we love to do.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jackie. Hilary, you're a master photographer. That beautiful red ribbon.
Very proud of my ribbon. Yes, thank you. Hoping to add a bar to it this year, but we shall see.
Yes, yes, hopefully.
Yes.
And you're here from Adelaide?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure. It's hard work, but it's good. You learn a lot.
We like to work our judges hard. Richard from Tasmania, you've got an interesting coloured ribbon there. Tell the people about your ribbon.
My ribbon is a master, a fellow, and honorary fellow, with a few other bits and pieces as well on there. APPA chairman, national president. Been judging here for 40 years, been a member for 43. So I'm nearly worn out now. I think that's enough.
Got a bit of history there. That's
a
incredible.
A little bit of history there.
And a couple of books under your belt too.
12.
Just a handful.
Yeah.
Amazing accomplishments. That's really incredible. David, here from South Australia as well.
Hello.
with your red ribbon.
Yes.
Any gold bars on that ribbon yet? Yes, you got one. There we
one.
go.
Yeah. Ask me a question.
Tell us about what do you shoot day to day?
Day to day, travel, landscape, commercial photography.
Perfect. Yeah.
Lot of outdoor stuff. A lot in the wine industry.
Wine industry. Hey, that's got to have some perks.
Commercial. It does. And being in South Australia, it's a good thing to do. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for being with us. And Gary from Queensland, my home state.
Hi Mel, how you going?
Good, good.
Yeah.
So just have a catch up.
Okay, yeah, how's things going? Yeah, I'm wildlife landscape photographer. I work for the Queensland Museum in Brisbane in our publishing department. So yeah, I publish wildlife books and
More books.
all the things attached to those concepts.
Awesome. We've got an incredible panel here today. So thank you all for being here. It's really wonderful getting to work with you. A real joy. I think the geniuses behind the jump have sorted out our technical issues. So let's return that print if we could. Oh, sorry, guys. The past print. There we go. And judges, enter your scores. Thank you, judges. This print scores 80, silver award. Gary, could you give us a comment, please?
Yes, very subtle and simple. And I'm really enjoying the way the figures have been resolved in the softness. I like that part, that subtle bit.
Thank you. Next print, please. And thank you to Fuji for sponsoring this category, Landscape Photographer of the Year. The guys at Fuji gave away a camera this morning, so if you're around, go and see their stand and see what they have that you might be able to get your hands on. Some lovely little pieces of technology there. This print scores 82, silver award. But a challenge. David's going to challenge from 87. Thanks, David. We've got an 83, two 82s, and a 78 for you.
Okay, so we're not too far off. I think this deserves a silver with distinction. As an abstract, it's a bold move, doing this kind of abstract, and I think this one's been done particularly well because there are parts of the image which allow us to see, after looking carefully about what it might be, but the abstraction has been handled beautifully enough that it really draws us in. I also really like the colours. I really like that there's been some white points left to anchor us at the top of the image. Rather than getting rid of those and just making it all low key, the deliberate decision to leave them there I think is a really nice one. And I really think the more you look at this, the more that you can appreciate it, and I think that we should come up to silver distinction.
Richard, you were on 78.
I'll go up a couple of points, having listened to the comments.
Thanks, Richard. Let's also hear from Jackie. You were right on the average at 82.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking the black poles, and I like I know.
There's that word.
It's not that love though, and that's where I think I would get there if some of those tones were more ethereal and connected with me. It's a technique that is well done, but I'm looking at the superior visual communication, craft and skill, and that. Gee, I'm listening to you, and I can feel the importance of the blues down the bottom and the visual spaces and this choice that the photographer's made, that this is the shot that they love. And so I'm listening, yeah.
David, your right of reply.
Okay, if this was on the ceiling of your dentist, you would be forced to look at it for a long time, but I really think you would enjoy looking at it for a long time. And obviously, those comments are about personal preference, but I really think this, I'd like to just quickly mention the print quality too is absolutely superb, and I think that's another thing we should be considering.
Our average score is 82. David has an 87. Everyone else rescore. Print scores 85, a silver with distinction. Lovely work. Next print, please. This print scores 77. Richard, from the average, could you let us know what...
I think the sky is a little bit oversaturated, which makes it harsh, and there's some very strong vignetting at the top. The sky wouldn't look like that. I think that's overdone.
Thanks, Richard. Next print, please. By majority, this print scores 79. And we'll go for review at the end of the category. Hilary, could you give us a comment?
Sorry. I would love to have gone higher if the photograph had been taken just a little bit further around, so we didn't have the really black tree trunk and the really black foreground. But the scene itself is beautiful, lovely detail and tones.
And a quick comment, Richard?
I think the water is overexposed.
Thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 76. Gary, could you give us a comment, please?
Look, in terms of abstraction, which is what we're dealing with, I think the idea is just not quite resolved clearly enough. There are too many elements just working against each other. I'd probably just think about simplifying down the approach to this. Yep.
Thank you, Gary. Next print, please. This print scores 79 and will be reviewed at the end of the category. Hilary, could you give us some extra pointers?
Yes, just that really dark panel that's quite wide. if they had cropped it slightly differently. The colours, the tonal range, everything else is beautiful. It's just that one dark patch that took it down for me.
Thank you, Hilary. In 1 minute. Next print, please. This print scores 76. And Gary again on the average.
Look, I think I just watched my tones in the sky because our subtle foreground and the repetition of the three signposts working with that lovely landscape, the sky's just hitting me a little bit harder than what I would like. But that's all. It's, yeah, nice work though.
Thanks, Gary. And on that note, thank you for your service on this panel. Quick break, and David Glazebrook, come join us. This is going to be a problem for me. I've got two Davids sitting next to each other. It's all right. We'll control it. Next print, please. This print scores 82, silver award. And David Evans, may I have a comment?
Yeah, I think this is really nice. I think it could have even been a little better with just a little bit more contrast in the foreground, but otherwise really, really nice.
Thank you. Next print, please. This print scores 77. Hilary, have a word with us about this one, please.
I would have liked a little bit more sky, just a little bit more room around it, perhaps. But it's a beautiful, beautiful colour tones. Lovely.
Thanks, Hilary. Next print, please. This print scores 75. Yes, a comment, David? Go for it.
I really love the concept, and if the execution of the concept in the printing had come through better, because there's blocking of the toning, it's getting really muddy, it would have rendered a better result in my opinion.
Thanks, David. Next print, please. And this print scores 81, silver award. Jackie, could you give us a comment, please?
What's the next level to make the emotion go beyond the graphics and the study is very good? What is it? And that's what the author needs to bring to it, something of themselves.
Lovely, thank you very much. Next print, please. This print scores 81, silver award. But we're going to have a challenge from Jackie, who's on 86. There's two 83s, a 78 and a 77 for you, Jackie.
Yeah, I got a feeling this is a superior quality print, superior vision, composition, emotion that's been brought into it by where the photographer's standing. I think I'm getting excited by the photographer's input into this. I think it's enduring, which is a goal. But I guess it doesn't bring that extra creativity. But I think it's a solid silver distinction, 86.
David, you're on 77. Glazebrook, I should define that.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for bringing this to our attention there, Jackie. The initial impact is great with the contrast and the colour palette, but I was a little held back by the journey that the river takes. I wanted to follow the river through, and it's broken here on the left-hand edge. And then when I get up and inspect the print closer, there's a graininess within the clouds, which isn't quite synchronous with the subject that we're being presented with. And so that's what held me back from getting into an award standard print.
Thank you, David. Hilary from 83.
Yes, I agreed with what Jackie said. David, that's what held me back from silver distinction, was where the river went out of the frame and then came back. I don't feel the sky's too grey. I love the detail in this and the delicate colours, and it's just beautiful. It's just that river, but I'm listening to what Jackie will say at the end.
And she will do that for us now.
Sometimes I think we get too many answers. This is leaving out some of that space outside where our mind goes to. We certainly come back into that frame. I'm bouncing forward and backwards from the warm to the cold. I'm going to the mountains. The river was a secondary level for me. I'm still captured, particularly by the sky. The graininess that you're talking about, it didn't hit me in the face. I was taken by the emotion of the sky, the lights and the darks, and I think that directs my eye back into that landscape that balances out that foreground river. There's three little light areas of cloud that seem to finger coming down. They seem to balance out that left-hand area of the river. I'm on 86. I'm asking you to come into silver distinction.
Our average score is 81. Jackie is on 86. Everyone else can rescore. $85, silver distinction. Next print, please. This print scores 82, silver award. A comment, if I could, Richard.
Very well done architectural photograph. I love the charcoal colours and the strong shapes, and the detail in the print is superb.
Thank you, Richard. Next print, please. This print scores 88, a silver with distinction. However, we're going to have a chat about it because David's going to challenge from 92. Now, we have an 88, two 87s and an 86. Have a go at it, David Evans.
Yeah, we are not far. This is just really luscious is the word I want to use. It's very reminiscent of food and ice cream and milk, and I don't know, just there's something other about it apart from just the landscape, and that's the sort of thing that should really take us to somewhere else. The balance, reading from left to right with you know, that the movement of whatever it is sort of dripping down. I mean, I find it hard to kind of describe what I'm looking at in photographic terms, because it's just reminding me of all these other things in life. And when I start to talk like that and get abstract thoughts, I really think we should be considering something better than, you know, a silver distinction. I really think we should be thinking about gold. To get sort of emotional in that way about a landscape, I mean, come on.
Thank you, David. Jackie, you were on 86.
Yeah, and thanks, David. I was all those things. I was seeing aliens and teeth and I don't know, eggs, certainly. And I got up and I was a little bit. I guess what took me back was just the kind of painterly nature, watercolory nature of the yellow high keys. It didn't quite sit with me, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing, because it does get balanced out by that bottom half. Yeah, I think you're right.
Richard, you were on the average at 88.
And I'm going to go up to a gold award. I think it's very, very well done. Probably the best print we've seen this morning.
Evans, your right of reply, Evans.
Well, I don't think I need to say any more. I think we're going up, aren't we?
Our average score sits at 88 at the moment. David, hold your score. Everyone else. ... Print scores 92, a gold award. Beautiful work. And for the audience who are here, you can see all of these prints that are awarded, including this one, up on the walls outside. So go and have a good look. Next print, please. This print scores 80, silver award. Comment, please, David Glazebrook.
Really enjoyed the commentary, the scarification, the human scarification of the landscape, but I would encourage the author to look at how they treat their noise and not try and overcompensate with the sharpening to try and combat that.
Thanks, David. Next print, please. This print scores 79. But we have a challenge, thanks Jackie, on 84. You're not alone because Hillary's on 81. And then there's a 78, 76 and a 74.
Yeah, this took me into other places as well. The soft grasses and the specific blue tones they've put to those grasses made me think of and feel of skyscapes, and then the brushy marks were reminiscent almost of clouds, ethereal clouds in the sky. So that's a transcendence. It's taken me into that silver range. There's maybe a few little blotchy marks there, but they're evenly sort of spaced throughout the image. I'm allowed to come forward and then go back into the background. It's reflected into the water now that we can see. So it's on multiple layers that this can be read, and I think that's sophisticated. I'm on 84 and I'm asking you to join me on silver.
Mr. Glazebrook from 74.
I thank Jackie for challenging the print because, yeah, I was too hard at 74 there. I'm going to come up. I'd like to hear more, though, about handling. I appreciate the finesse and the fineness, the colour palette on the right-hand side, but it heavily contrasts with the shadows of the trees, apparent trees perhaps, on the left-hand side and how dark they are in the image. And I'm just, that balance, I'm not quite there kind of thing, you know, but thank you nonetheless, yes.
Hillary, you're in the silver range at 81.
Yes, I thought this was a beautiful print. I don't mind that darkness on the left. It gave it a nice feeling of going different places. I could have even gone higher with a bit more abstraction. It's just very ethereal, and the colour palette just suits this so well. I'll go a couple more points.
Your right of reply, Jackie.
I think this composition is a lot about lines. The lines of the grasses needed that balance and texture of those dark trees to make it feel right. I mean, that's composition comes from the gut, and that it all feels right in the right place for me. I'm on 84, and I'm asking you to give it a solid silver, not just an 80. I should have possibly gone higher. So come on board with me if you can.
The average score sits at 79. Jackie has an 84, but everyone else can rescore. 81, good silver. Next print, please. This print scores 83, a silver award. But David Evans is going to challenge that score. He's on 80. David's on 88, and then we've got an 83, two 82s, and a 78.
Okay, so we're all, a lot of us are up there. I'd like to see this get a silver distinction. It's just really strong. When it turned around, I thought, wow, that's got a lot of impact, and I really prayed that it would be sharp, and it is. And again, it takes me to another abstract place. I mean, this looks like a reverse kind of blood situation, blue blood running through a red kind of being or something like that. And I really, really, really like just that hint of blue that's been captured there. I think it anchors really well the central darkness, the central veins running down actually anchor the lightness on the left and the mid-tones on the right. And the square crop is absolutely perfect. It's on an 83. I think we can push it a couple of points.
Richard, you were in 78.
I'm prepared to go up a couple of points, but the print isn't sharp. I would have liked to see some point that's crisp. It's soft all over.
Thanks, Richard. Hillary, you were on the average. 83.
Sorry. Yeah, I feel it's sharp enough, but maybe my glasses need cleaning. I'll do that next. But I saw lava and ice and, an imaginary world, I think, as an abstract that takes you to different places. It really works. I'll definitely come up.
Your right of reply, David.
Yeah, look, I think it's sharp. I mean, I've just turned 40. I might need glasses, but I think it's perfectly sharp.
Our average score is 83. David Evans holds an 88, but everyone else can rescore. By a majority, this print scores 85, a silver distinction. Going to do a judge change. Thank you, David Evans. You've been on there quite some time. And we're going to bring back Mike Langford. Must pay particular note to the fact that the ladies on the end here have been serving quite some time as well. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. We've got a good team of judges here, and we're going to keep it rolling with the next print, please. This print scores 84, silver award. And a comment from Mike.
I think this would have been stronger as a square.
Thank you, Mike. Play with your cropping to the entrant, perhaps. Next print, please. This print scores 81, a silver award. Jackie, give us a comment.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit more, not quite so muddy. I know it's a reflection, but just a little bit more, bring up those the whites.
Thanks, Jackie. Next print, please. This print scores 80, silver award. But Mike's going to challenge it. Mike's on 85. There's two 81s, a 78 and a 77 for you, Mike.
I find this the graphics of this, the strength. It's in your face. It's in the centre. It's breaking a lot of rules for a lot of people. Rules should be broken. That's where we get innovation.
Jackie, you were down the other end on 77.
Yes. Maybe it should have been square. Sorry. No, look, honest. I'm listening to you. As I squint my eyes, I can see sort of a kind of funny a white halo on left and right side of the structure. There's a technical issue there that was sort of annoying me. It was getting in the way. I do think a square could have been better. I do like it in the middle, and I'm listening. I'm on 77, which is close.
David, you were next to the average on 81.
I wanted to be with Mike. I saw Jackie's issue of the haloing, and it was just, yeah, that held me back. Halo would have been less halo, better.
Mike, your right of reply.
Yeah, I also saw the halo, and I saw that not as a distraction, but an increased strength of the pipe, because the pipe is tonally really contrasty, whereas the rest of the image is very soft. Just in terms of technique, the long exposure has still kept the structure both in the water and in the sky. So we're actually looking at the contrast of really gritty and really soft. Yes, it does have a problem, but the innovation of it is what takes it to a silver distinction, as opposed to going for gold or something like that. Has problems, acknowledge the problems, but support what works. Don't focus on what doesn't work.
The average score is 80. Mike's locked in at 85. Everyone else can rescore though. Print has gained a couple of points and is now 82. So good silver. Next print, please. This print scores 78. Jackie, please.
To take this into the next level, I think it needs something unexpected. Something that we haven't, we can feel the colour and see it, but maybe something that we can hook onto.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Gary, for stepping in there. Next print, please. And just for the audience, any of our judges are encouraged to step back for any reason at any time. They don't have to explain their reasons. They can just step back if they don't want to judge a print. And we've always got other judges at the ready to step in for them. This print scores 78. Yes, you may make a comment, David.
Two things. Contrast to the mountains here on the, particularly on the right-hand side, but the left-hand crop, that little splash, I don't think was sort of needed there. It was actually served as a distraction rather than addition in the print. So question every element in the print, whether it's valid there.
Thanks, David. May we have a blank screen, please? Thank you to our wonderful print handlers. That is our break time. We are not finished the category yet, but you our judges get to stretch their legs, have a bit of a break, go get a coffee, and we will be back judging. Judges at 11, please. We will start the judging shortly after that. Okay, now, Steve, can I ask you, can you turn that TV off, please, or spin it around?
We need to coach girls so they can have a break.
I know, we do. They're doing such a great job. It's hard to give them a break. Yeah, they're a little lean this year.
Someone not turned up or something? Because there's normally 3 spares.
Yeah, I think they are a little low. I don't know the details. Still got some.
Moving along
It is. Oh, it's all the judges. Cool.
All of a sudden, like, bring me into the room and like, and they went, oh, and then I said, can I go get some water? Like,
Yeah. Water? Yes, you've got time for water, yes.
yes, but be really quick. I didn't get
Because
to get